Hey everybody, Timo here with Basin. We're going to do some insurance with an E, programming and troubleshooting with Eliza OS, the open source AI agent development software. We are streaming live on Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So if you have questions, ping us in one of those spots. It should show up in the chat here, and we'll try and get to your questions. But I'm here with John Ruth. From Solar Foundation, or what's the organization these days?
Yeah, I mean, Solar Foundation or Spark Eco, I think, is probably what's effectively building these agents. We hope that work will fund the Solar Foundation, but keeping a little bit of a line between us, given that we're actually on the process of becoming a nonprofit, so don't want to do anything weird that would make that a problem for the Solar Foundation. So,
okay,
but
cool.
They're interrelated.
Awesome. So we're going to talk about how agents or AI agents can be mobilized to spread knowledge, spread memes, answer questions, fund solar, gather information, do tasks. So we're going to kind of generally today, John and I talk about some of that stuff. But first, I want to give a quick update on the insurance.app, just kind of go over that real quick. And then there's some outstanding questions that some people from the community have around databases. And John, you had mentioned some Eliza.gg is down, the chat interface. It's been down for a week or so. And so how do we work through the documents and kind of some questions? So I was going to show you a trick real quick in Cursor AI to kind of work around that, to kind of streamline this, if you will. So, yep. And then correct me if I'm wrong, but you have, and you can show off your screen in a second, but you have your agents. You went from Eliza starter pack to Eliza full repo. And are you using our fork, or did you fork their whole entire repo?
I forked their whole entire repo, though maybe I should think about forking yours instead. For those out there,
okay. That's fine for now. Yeah.
But maybe just a tip for all those out there that are like, I don't code, I can't do this. Like, I haven't touched a command line since like the 90s with MS-DOS. And so at the end of the day, if I can figure it out, I think you can too. Like I literally have done little to no coding in the last long time and was able to get these agents up and running. So, but I don't know what I don't know. So I'm certainly making tons of mistakes along the way and little things like, oh, I should grab Timo's repo instead of the main one. Like all these things I'm learning as I go, but it's been a fun learning exercise and learning something new in general. So definitely general plug to go out there and play with this stuff. It really is cool, and you really will learn a ton of stuff and realize that you don't have to be a hardcore coder to make some of this stuff happen.
Yeah, I think your strategy is right on the money. For other people watching too, it's Eliza starter pack to kind of get up and going, and then you can go fork their entire repo, which is a little bit more cumbersome, and you got to get Node running in the right versions. And then you can also fork ours, which is basically their main. And we're in sync with upstream. We're working to be in sync with upstream, but we've deleted a lot of stuff that we're just not going to use, like the bunch of different plugins and different things like the Slack client and some other clients that we're just not going to use for the time being. So we try to pare it down. So the insurance fork of Eliza is kind of in the middle of their big main one, and then that starter pack.
Okay.
Personally, I've kind of slowed down on the development of our plugin just for the last week or so, while I'm waiting for Eliza V2, which is coming way faster than I think a lot of us thought. They thought it was going to be 2 months, and so we're going to get our plugin going with 1.7 and 1.8, and then switch to 2 later. But with how fast they're going with V2, I just said, wait a minute, we're just going to slow down on our plugin development, because there's some stuff in V2 that I think is going to be way better, way simpler. Like you had mentioned, like Twitter messages and Twitter Spaces is another upgrade they have going. If you listen to their what did I build this week from last Friday night, at the end of the 2-hour session or whatever, they invite Eliza Awake, I think is the handle, to the stage. And the responsiveness is almost OpenAI voice quality, where 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, it was just like you'd ask a question and you'd wait, and then yeah. So
Maybe
but now yeah. So V2 I think addresses a lot of that stuff. So yeah. So Twitter messages, I think V2 will help with that. I think we could work on Farcaster today a little bit. Maybe talk about Nanar's API and how you plug that in, and kind of the two different methods they offer to get Farcaster at what are called FIDs, which you need to run your Farcaster agent. And you can do that manually too. So we could cover like the 3 ways to do that.
Okay.
We could maybe get into knowledge as well. And maybe even try and do a repo, like try and upload a repo to one of the characters. And we could also look at your character files in a minute also. And we could kind of go through, like, I have, when I show you the cursor, the AI stuff, or the file, and it's called cursor rules, basically, I think you'll get a hint as to kind of like, oh, what I can do. Oh, I can actually put that in cursor, and I can tell cursor to reference that. And I don't always have to go to Eliza GG. It's actually in cursor, and you say, hey, follow this. Like, it's not like 100% accurate, but like you can add like your own references to cursor is kind of what I'm getting at. So
okay, that's cool. Because you did share cursor with me, and I have not. I kind of opened it up and just looked at it, but I haven't really tried to use it much at this point. Really, everything's been sort of from Eliza GG and the general, and like the character builder I used as the initial format for the characters, and then start adding to them and that kind of thing.
Okay, cool. Let me just look. I'm just looking at my screen real quick here to show. We kind of touched on this last week, but I think it's Data Packets Twitter account has the question around databases. So I'll just quickly, I'll go over that here in a minute.
Okay.
Also, but I'll just share my screen just real quick, and then I would like you to share your screen after. How's that sound?
Sure.
Okay. Cool. Okay, cool. So just real quick, what we're working on here is insurance agents, insurance with an E. The whole point is to insure the stocks and flows of natural capital. So that the core of our mission of what we're doing at Basin is all the things that we depend on in life. So the clean air, the clean water, the climate stability, the pollination, the habitat, all the species, all the animals that we all depend on, all the ecosystem services. And then they all come from ecosystems. So when we say stocks and flows, that's what we're here doing, is ensuring the stocks and flows in natural capital. So insurance.app is our website that we're working off of. This is our front end, getting ready to make this public. And so this is a community built, basically, client. So anyone will be able to fork this website and deploy just their own group. Like, John, you could take your .solar contract and remove all of our other group contracts. Like if we go, if I go here to groups, just real quick, and so like you could set this to just show .solar, for example. Like we're showing all the different groups, but you could basically fork that. And so just think of this as like a client. So like Warpcast is a client on Farcaster, right? Yeah. And so this is like a client on all of our insurance contracts and a client on Eliza. So if you're running our insurance contracts and or Eliza, you could fork this and edit this. And so we'll make the GitHub public on this. But so we did fund with Insure, our fungible token. We funded a bunch of different what we call insurance pools. So right now that we're working on liquidity, of course, but like based on current pricing, all these insurance pools have around $600,000-$700,000 of our Insure token in it, and all these pools will be an Eliza agent. So this whole thing works exactly the same. So like your solar agents, John, basically can have all these exact same features. So basically we'll activate the agent here at some point, and this agent will manage the assets, the insurance pool assets for clean air for this pool. And it will actually manage that. And then if you go here to presence, actually, so like we have a place module, impact module, reputation module, and all this stuff is on chain. But all of your agents, all your solar agents, will have this same thing. They'll have this exact same functionality, this exact same chat with your agent. It uses ELIZA under the hood, and it uses our insurance contracts or our Citus contracts to like enable the wallets, basically. So it can hold any NFT, any semi-fungible token, any fungible token, etc. So last week we funded all these. There's 14 ecosystems and 19 ecosystem services. So we have that funded, and then we've added certificates to the website, which is, we can kind of get into kind of how that funds the whole system here. And one question I asked you, John, is something we're going to be launching here in the next week is syndicates, which are basically vaults. So like the example I use with Ogallala Life with Will is like, what specifically does Ogallala want to fund? And so like jokingly, I said to Will, like, or not jokingly, but like, you want to fund water, an aquifer recharge in West Texas. So basically we could form a syndicate that insures just water in West Texas. And that syndicate will be able to, people can invest USDC, ETH, insure, or any ERC20, and then the yield is paid back in that. And so it's actually a financial mechanism to just invest in that cause. And so what we would do is issue certificates around that syndicate, basically. So if you wanted to insure, like, for example, this watershed in Mexico, down by Punta Mita is where this is. Like, you could actually form a syndicate, and then the agents actually can join the syndicates. And so you were talking about swarms earlier. Basically, the syndicates are kind of like swarms. So they basically invest funds, and then they build action and activity around the different causes and purposes. But they also are trying to basically raise money or fund the different projects on the ground. So I encourage people to check this out. Use the search feature up here. If you want to like look at like what different agents we have going. I need to activate the chat feature here, but like you'll be able to, John, do all this with your solar assets. Like, you'll be able to say, okay, you'll make certificates, and these are certificates for sale that basically fund anything that the Elk's mission, basically. So like this one certificate funds, and we need to expand this, but it funds, it shows the beneficiaries, it will show where the money goes, basically. And so you click insure, and you basically buy that certificate, you own it, you can trade it, you can sell it, you can burn it. And so imagine doing that for your solar project. So kind of to get your wheels going of like, okay, I have project 123.solar, and it has the same format. It uses a keyword search to basically find your certificates here. You can direct your community to the certificates, and any of the funds goes to your project, and your funds would show up here. So any certificates you buy, right, with that account would show up here in your assets. This is your agent's assets, or it would show, and the funds you actually earn from those certificates would show up here in your agent's wallet, basically. So like it's each agent can insure its own thing, its own purpose. And then you're like, well, how do I know the agent's not scamming me? Is we're enabling this place, impact, reputation that will be on chain. It basically uses the wallet as well. So it would have like a Gitcoin passport score, Karma Gap score. And I know we've covered some of this stuff before, but we've got a lot of this stuff.
No, but it's good for the general audience, whoever might be out there listening, to hear some more of this for sure. So in the case of solar, this might look like small individual projects or solar projects that we want to fund, maybe even down to as granular, I could imagine, in the front end is one of the most basic things that we deploy is just solar lanterns, which are small cost and then provide somebody with at least a little bit of light and a little bit of charging ability in their home, which is a great first step for people. So I could imagine having just like a lanterns in there, so to speak, that are being funded versus in these cases like pieces of land and things that you're showing on the screen.
Yeah, so like that's a good point. So like let's say fund, this is hypothetical because we already have this minted, right? So you have fund.solar, right? Is what, and we need to again activate the agent for this, but this is the agent's wallet address. So if anyone watching wants to fund John's work while we're talking, you just go to fund.solar on the insurance app, just type it in up here in the search bar, find it, click that, copy the address, and send John's agent some tokens. You can send it on base. So we put a little bit of insure in it for you, John, but like, you can send it, they can send it on base, they can send it on Zora, Arbitrum, Optimism, Polygon. It's the same address on all those chains. So go ahead and send John some fund.solar, some tokens to get him going. And then same thing, send John some NFTs. And we could do that. I'll do that here separately, but but that would show up here. So and then if you go back here to tend, so for your lanterns, for example, you'll be able to do this on the app, where you basically will be able to create a certificate, upload the media. It can be video, right? It can be a picture, it can be AI generated, it can be audio. Like we have some cool whale sounds and stuff. Like, so, like this is an AI generated thing that Will did. But so imagine your solar lantern projects of like, actually, I was talking to Peter, a friend, yesterday, and talking about like MRV. So he wants to have his team and groups go out and do MRV on a weekly basis. So imagine like uploading an image, right, as a certificate of your solar lantern. Like, so this is basically me at the river, right? Like, so imagine this is an MRV. Like, this isn't actually MRV in this case, but like, imagine you would put all your MRV data in here. You upload your media, and then that certificate becomes something that you can use to fund your project. So not only is it on-chain MRV, right? It's actually a fundraising mechanism for you to do it, to do your work. So you could do one for each solar lantern, right? You could charge $10 per lantern, or you could do, $1 per lantern. You can mint these, like, so when you like, I don't have it enabled right now, but like, you'll be able to price this in any ERC20. So USDC, Insure, DAI, Earth, or ETH. You could price it in ETH as well, like 0.0001 ETH, right? And then that would automatically, when people buy those, right, or collect those, or insure your solar lanterns, those funds, right, show up in your agent's wallets. And then you can define with all the splits we're using, the flow, we call them flows, kind of where the funds go. So if you wanted to direct funds that come to this wallet, you say, well, we have 5 different partners we want to fund. So basically, so like right here, this has 3 beneficiaries. So imagine you like, oh, we want to fund 10 different groups, and you just enter their Ethereum address, and you'll be able to track it. I don't have this enabled yet here, but you'll basically click that, and you'll be able to track the flow of funds. Oh, who's John's solar fund project funding? And you actually can go see their wallets and their accounts. So just kind of food for thought, kind of, that's what we're thinking. And then, right, if you go back to Eliza, like, when we make that, you make this an agent, you enable this to be an agent, this would be the same thing that's running your Twitter agent or your Telegram agent. So how about you share your screen?
Definitely. And while I'm doing that, it looks like somebody over on LinkedIn had a question about, are the agents human or AI or both? And I think the answer is both, though we're primarily talking about the AI agents, though if we're managing real world assets, there's got to be some humans out there that are at least representatives that are working on behalf of those agents. But Timo, I don't know, maybe you want to give your thoughts on how that works, at least within the insurance within E world.
No, that's exactly right, John, and that's a great question. So for those watching, keep dropping the questions on. John, I appreciate you monitoring that, the comments there. The saying, right, in AI right now is humans in the loop. So like the AI runs on a loop, right? It runs on a program, on a server or whatnot, and the LLM, and it keeps looping. And we want to have humans in the loop to kind of manage, monitor, make decisions, kind of intervene if needed. And so we're viewing these as semi-autonomous agents. So if you're running it locally, right, on your Mac, you might just fire it up for a few hours. It runs, it does what it needs to do, and then you turn it off. Or if you're running it on a server, it might run 24/7, but it might not talk, right? Like John, you mentioned that earlier. Like, it might just listen. It might just be getting information, and then it might only talk when spoken to. So it could, when it's on a server, like, it's always running, and it could always be listening for keywords, gathering information, and reporting it somewhere back else, or putting it in the database, doing something, talking to another agent behind the scenes, but then it might only talk when spoken to. So like if someone actually tags the agent on Twitter, you might only have it respond there, or you might have it tweet every hour or something. But we're viewing these as semi-autonomous agents. And so for the wallets, for example, what we're building is and I'm getting technical here, is the token bound accounts, the ERC 6551, basically is going to enable, the way I like to think about it is like you're giving the agent a checking account that it can manage its own checking account by itself within a certain limit. Like you might, like, let's say your kid, like, right, has a spending on a debit card or a checking account or a credit card, and you're like, yeah, can't spend more than $500 or $200 or whatever. And the agent's the same way. It can only spend money on whatever we define in the policies, or you define as the agent. So back to humans, right? Like, so I'm an agent operator for our agents. You're, John, an agent operator for your agents. And you're telling the agent like what the policies are, what it can and can't do. And then when I say semi-autonomous, it then can go to its, what we call the operator account. So each agent, each even ERC 721, we're getting in the weeds, John, because you know this stuff, but like each 721 has to
Real
be in a
quick,
wallet.
while you keep explaining this to the audience, I've got to restart my browser to share. I switched browsers recently and I realized I haven't actually shared.
Okay, cool.
So I'll bounce out. You can keep chatting with the crowd. Hopefully I can just rejoin right into it and doesn't kill your stream. I don't think so.
No problem. Yeah, I'll just
Cool.
reactivate. Yeah, cool. Yep. Cool. So the agent is a 721 ERC 721 token, has its own wallet. It's enabled by what's called 6551, token bound, and that has to be in like an owner of, like someone has to actually own that or operate it. So we call those operators. And so what we're building with insurance is that each agent will be able to go into its own operator account, and think of that as like the savings account or a multi-sig, for example, that the agent can then request funds or actions from the operator. So the agent itself can autonomously act within the policy limits for its, John's back here. So the agent itself can act within its limits for its checking account, but then it has access to or can suggest transactions for its like operator account. It can, and then the operator, to the question, right, of humans, can then approve or not approve that question, or that, whatever that transaction is. So go ahead, John.
Yeah, knock that down. So I guess a couple things. Right this minute, I actually have the agents running in separate repos because I haven't quite figured out how to configure everything to run multiple agents in one repo. It's certainly not the most efficient way, but it does work, at least for now. And so one of them, actually, this one below is called Rayla Solar, and this is actually the starter pack still. I haven't upgraded her, but I started upgrading the green box up here, which is Flare Master 3000. And then we have here, and I can try and maybe make it a little bit bigger for you.
So are you on Cursor there? Are you on VS Code?
VS Code, but maybe you should just be doing this in Cursor, or that sounds like that is maybe a tool I need to be using even more than I am right now, but this is just in VS Code.
So just real quick, while we're there, just so everyone knows, Cursor is basically built on VS Code. I think VS Code is open source. So then Cursor is just basically built on it's an open source wrapper.
Okay.
So like do you have Cursor installed? Do you want to just open it up?
I think I isn't on this machine yet. I could probably pretty quick though.
Okay. How about while you do that, I think it'd be easier for, because then you can actually run commands, like, or to actually do it while we're talking. Like,
okay.
So maybe how about I'll share my cursor real quick. Why don't you install your cursor real quick, and that just while we're talking here.
I want to just go to excuse me, Cursor. Is it dot
AI, I think.
Okay.
And you can run the free plan, and you'll get some slow requests, whatnot. But But one question we did have from data packets was around databases. And so here I am and you can get to it from Eliza os.github.io. I guess you have to go to docs, but docs. And there's a little link up here for GitHub, and it will take you to here. And people were asking about databases. When you start up Eliza OS, it comes with basically SQLite. So if you go down here to packages, so I'm in basically Eliza main, and look at all their forks and stars and whatnot. But if you go to packages, and then it has these database adapters. So like out of the box, SQLite works, or that's what it's running on. But what happens is when you restart the individual thing, let's see here, or you restart an agent, or you restart your Eliza, basically, I think that data goes away. So it's just a temporary kind of local database is the way I understand it. So what we did is we deleted that, and then we used the Postgres adapter, and we're running a Postgres. We actually run two different Postgres, one on Vercel and one on Render. And so you just use this adapter, and you configure it in your environment file. So like they have an environment example file here. And so you would just configure like your Postgres, Postgres or your adapter in here. I guess it's not in that one maybe, and you basically add your database connection. So like you can see MongoDB, for example, right here. So people who are asking, you can basically use those adapters to run whatever database you want. And so one thing I need to do is see if Postgres is actually a vector database. That's what someone was asking me the other day. I think it is. John, do you know if it is?
I do not.
So we could go ahead and ask. But like Supabase is another one you can. So if we go back to packages, and so they got MongoDB, Postgres, Supabase. So it's really up to you what you want to run. But then what happens there is then all of your agents, all your data basically starts to build knowledge and memories for the agents. And instead, like right now, the agents basically forget. When you're using SQLite, they go to an empty database and they don't have the information. But let me just go here to so this is our front end. Let me just open up our Eliza real quick. So I go Eliza insurance agents. And then real quick, I'm just going to say, is Postgres a vector database? That's something I've been meaning to ask myself later, or find out the DB. And you don't have to be specifically in this, but like it's not primarily a vector database. It's a relational database, however, can handle vector operations. So that might want to be something we might want to like change later, right? Like we might want to, with all the LLM embeddings and whatnot, I think we can do it with Postgres, and so I would have to dig into this later. But like for example, like we could then expand here, like like I could type in. Let's say look at. Can you see my screen, John?
Yeah.
Okay, so adapter. So a cool thing in Cursor is you do the @ sign, and you basically can tag, like right here, this would be tagging the entire like directory, right, of adapter Postgres. So all I'm doing, I'm over here, same thing. I have my file tree, and I know where it is, but I want it to go ahead and look at this. And so and then say, hey, and tell me how it relates, right? Like you don't have to spell it right, but like. And so right now, Cursor AI, right, is going to look at that entire directory. I didn't type in like this specific file, right? I didn't type in source or index. I basically entered the whole directory. And so it's telling me about the schema, right? Dynamic vector, memory storage. supporting tables and rooms. And then and John, this is one of the shortcuts I was going to show you. And I'm just going to briefly show it because it's actually my private thing here. But like I have right here, I have my render databases down here. So I could actually, I'm going to hide that because those are my private SQL database keys. But basically,
Goodness, somebody's going to be using that later.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. It'd be kind of funny.
Hopefully not.
But like, basically, I could paste that here and say, I'm trying to think how we could demo that right now without revealing my keys. I think it would just reveal it. But basically, I could say, access, or say, look at my PSQL, and then I would just paste in from the notepad. I would paste in that PSQL, and you actually can run all your database commands literally right here I use the composer, and it can tell it to stop commands. You can tell it to search certain tables. It basically executes terminal commands, everything. So that was the question about databases. And then the other thing I use, John, is this cursor rules. So what I'll do here is, so like if we wanted to save, like I know I have a conversation going about like databases. So what I'm gonna do here is say let's look at, so I started a new composer. And it's just like when you use any LLM, you kind of start different conversations and you can refer back to them later. Let's look at, I'm pretty sure I have a cursor rules in here. I might not in this one. I think I do though. And so that's not the cursor rules, I don't think. So I want this one. I want the dot cursor rules, and that other one might take me to it. But let's just look at this one, and I just hit return, and I'll go ahead and open it up too. I can double click on it once they respond here. So this is opening up my cursor rules. I can get rid of my sidebar for a minute. But so I made the cursor rules, and you can make one of these for each of your projects. And so like I went to Eliza GG and all their docs, and then with AI, right, with cursor, I said, okay, look at this page, extract this information. Look at this page, extract this information. Okay, let's refine it. And so we have a cursor rules, which then cursor AI, right, that we're using here, like it knows what Eliza is, right? It knows the overview, key features. Like I don't have to read all this. Like see what the LLM just did over here. Yeah. Basically, it read this. Look how long that is. It read this whole thing and it put it into 5 bullet points, right, or 5 segments. And so,
got it.
So you don't have to go to Eliza GG, right, to like ask questions. You can tell. Let's see. So can you tell me? I'm gonna kind of cheat here. How to make Twitter posts shorter and snappier, and then let me think through the snappier. Maybe use cursor rules, and you don't have to be exact. You just kind of guess. Like maybe use cursor rules, or maybe, and this I'm gonna kind of point it in the right direction, or maybe look at client hyphen. I know it's Twitter, so and I'm giving it the whole package. Did you see that? Like you can give it the exact index file. Like I could go like Twitter, and I could do a slash, and it would show me like some of the base files, right? Or like an index, or like this is the post. I could direct it to post. Maybe we will.
Telegram's actually the one that my Twitter is working, but
your Twitter's working.
That's okay. But I'm following here. This is awesome. So you can just bring all that knowledge into Cursor and then start to use it to refine and ask it questions inside instead of, at least while Eliza GG's down, and maybe
I would recommend just using this all the time, because you have all your files, right? You have all your characters, you have all the different packages, you have all the different clients. And so let's just do that. So like my problem with Telegram is that Telegram posts more, I want to say more conversational.
I can show you, maybe it will make some sense. I can share next, and I'm back up, I think, and able to.
Okay, let me just hit this, and then we'll go to your screen here. Let's go client, and I can go Telegram. And so again, I can select the whole directory, or I could have it, I probably want it to look at like posts, right? Or like, I don't see a Telegram one. So let's just have it look at the entire Telegram package, and it might be able to tell us, right? Like, and then what I could do here too is I can open this as an editor if I want, like to make it bigger. Like, so now it's like bigger here. So it's, so you can see it. And then another shortcut for, I'm an old guy. So like I can do Command plus, and it makes everything bigger. So
Nice.
so, and then to get it back, you have to do like a weird shortcut to get it back to normal, but you go view, and then you go back to like, it's somewhere in here, but like zoom. Oh yeah, reset zoom. So the number pad 0. But so like now it's bigger, right? So like, let's just see what it said about this. So it's already jumping into like making code, like, it's telling me how to do it, but like, you got to be careful with cursor. Like it automatically will try and code. So a lot of times I say, let's discuss before you code. So I just like type that in. I say,
got it. And
so you just tell it not to code yet. You say, let's talk about the options. And then if I want to, go back to a conversation I've been at before, I always work in the pane for the most part. Like you can open it as a bar, which is kind of cool. Like if you wanted to do this, so it's the same thing. It's just, and you move it around your screen.
Yeah. So if I got multiple monitors, so I could sit it on one side and whatnot.
Yep.
But yeah, makes sense.
Exactly. But I like mine as a pane just because it's over here. But if I want to go back to, it's like, actually, I want to refer back to that database conversation. I go back to here and I say, Postgres database. And then your chats would show up here too. Like if we did a quick one-off like chat, like I ask just quick, like, one-off things, I use the chat. But for most things, I use the composer. It costs a little bit more, bandwidth or tokens for cursor. But for example, like it's telling us like right here, right in our character file, like we need to change our chat style, right? Or we need to change our knowledge and our topics. And another thing we did, I need to still post this. We did let's see, best practices. Let me find it here. But you see that why I'm trying to find this other thing, like you see what I'm saying, John? Like the cursor rules, like how you can put something in here and it like it gives you a reference, like this is what I want to show you. So this is another thing. So instead of the cursor rules, we did a character best practices.
Okay.
And so like bio, so these are the main like ELIZA sections, right? Character.
Yeah.
So what we did is we went through every single character file from like, went through all these right here. And then we made this. We said, okay, what do all these use? Right. And how to type it in. And so I need to upload this, or we need to push this up to our GitHub, but like I can post this somewhere, send it to you, email it to you. But it goes through every single, so it's kind of the same thing it's talking about over here. But so we could say, let's see, look at, and so what I'm getting at, John, is you can like basically, right, do all this. All this stuff works the same. So if anything you're trying to program with TypeScript or Python or whatever, you just do the same. Look at, and does it jive? Like I'm just going to make this up. Like, does it jive? So character best practices aligns very well with what we want to achieve for more. And so now we could then troubleshoot it, and then we could like update it. I could say, for the heck of it, let's just say, let's update Rise. This is our character file for Rise. And this is the one I'm having problems with to do this. So I don't need this open anymore. And so now it's going to actually, it's actually going to show me the changes.
And is it going to open the existing one and then it's going to propose changes? I guess I'll see.
It's going to, cursor sometimes it's not buggy, but like it depends. Sometimes it will act like the chat. It will just show you the changes here, like in the code. Like, so up here, it's showing you like code changes.
Okay.
And if you're in Composer, it should do what it's doing here. It should actually open the file. It creates a checkpoint. So open the file here. And then you see these little colors right here, like the little, these are the changes it's suggesting. So right here, it's saying, it's saying change. Let me just get rid of this so you can see it better. And I want to be careful with this because sometimes on JSON files, like it breaks the syntax or the markdown. So like if I was working by myself, I would actually, what I would do is get really good at code reading, right? Or that's what I'm doing is like you basically, okay, I'm going to read through this. Like that's what it's deleting, right?
Yeah.
And then I might be weary of these little spaces, these little ends it's putting in here.
Yeah.
I think I'm fine with the user, like I'm fine with the response. Content. So I think actually what like we need to do here is just for the heck of it, like I'm gonna go back to there. This might be the problem I'm having with this character, but if I go back to character examples and we look at like, let's use Trump as an example, right? Our favorite buddy here. So if I go chat, so I'm looking at the Trump file, right? So I'm in Trump character file, post. Let me go back to Rise. So it's message examples. So fine. So message examples. So like right here, I'm trying to see what the difference is. Content, text, what's your stance? See, our formatting is a little different. So I think I might have like a syntax issue. So I'm gonna have to troubleshoot this later, but like you see how the brackets, right, are on different lines. I don't think that really makes that big a difference, but like you see how they're doing it on their open and close brackets.
Yeah.
And then they're using user one, they're actually passing. So this is a more advanced character file. They're actually passing like a user name or like a user UUID, where we're not. We're just saying user one. It's just an example that the LLM uses. But like in this case, the LLM is actually going to like start to tag that user basically. And then see, and they don't have agent responses either. So I have response. See how they don't have a response either? They have.
Yeah.
So I think this might be our problem is like somewhere along the line. Let me just look at Beaver. I think Beaver has it too. Like,
I think mine has responses in it too, which I thought the character generator had put in there.
And I think that's probably what happened. We might have got ours from the character generator, which let's go see.
Are you in message examples or which section are you in?
Yep, message examples. Yep.
Mine doesn't have response actually. It just goes back and forth between basically it'll say like user, like text, what is the CA? And then it says Flare Master 3000, Solar is on Polygon, and the CA is da da da. So it it doesn't have it's not calling response, it's just naming the users differently. So it's just saying like user one talks and then Solar Flare responds, user one says this. I can share.
Well, why don't you show your screen?
Yeah, let me share my screen.
And so that's kind of some of the troubleshooting, right, that we wanted to get into today is like, and some of that requires, right, more people, like you sit there on your computer and you have to kind of troubleshoot those exact lines of code, which is probably more than what we want to do today. But like, why don't you show your screen and let's just look and I'll look at mine. I think the how he does it character file basically maybe put that in at some point in ours. And I need to remove it.
Okay. So...
And I don't think you necessarily have to remove it. I think you could basically, as long as your character file is not throwing an error with the agent file, your index, as long as that tag or flag or whatever they call it is not throwing an error where it's like Elijah is not trying to get a like message example that doesn't exist or something, or message, or if you have it plural versus not plural, it might throw an error. But so let's look at yours real quick.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. Let's see. How did you say to make it bigger? I can make it zoom in maybe. Oh,
So are you in cursor or are you in VS?
actually,
You're in cursor, it looks like.
I'm in cursor now. Yeah.
Okay, so just do so click on that and then hit Command. Are you on Mac?
Yeah. And so then this is the character file. Are you seeing this?
Yep, see that, and then just hit Command plus. We'll make the text bigger.
Okay.
There you go.
There we go. Okay.
And so yours is using the brackets. So that's basically a template. The user one in those double brackets
Mm-hmm.
is using like the Eliza template basically. And so like we'd have to go through the docs. It's either using UUID or it could be using, if you scroll all the way up, John, to your file, it might be using your name. So we'd actually have to go back to like each client probably, or we have to dig into the agent, the Eliza agent, and see like what it's using for that user one. Like it's passing some kind of value because
Got it.
those double brackets are basically dynamic values.
Okay. So then maybe it was supposed to be. Yeah, I see. So we need to figure out, because there could be just a general flaw in this, and that it's not filling in the blank.
You could, yeah, I don't want to break your file right now, but you could you could copy that file and you could remove the brackets and just name it user one,
Yeah.
See, I do see something there with let's see, I'm gonna go back to my character file real quick with the user.
I think the other thing that I realized, and this is, I think, just me not being a dev at heart, like I'm calling the character file directly. I don't have an index file. And what I realize is that at some point, I guess I need to spend the time to write an index file. But
Nope, good question. No, so on your cursor, hit Command B. So just like anywhere in the screen, just okay. And so then now go. Oh, so you just have one file open. So open.
I just had opened it, yeah, just the one, just to show you. But I can.
Yeah, so just open. Yeah, just do open folder and then just go to your whole Eliza. Okay, cool. And so now you see where it says agent. Yep, click on agent, and then just go to source. Yep, and then just let's see, dev containers. I would just skip that for now. I would just cross that out. You could look at that later. And then open the index. Just click on the index.
Oh.
So this index file runs all of your agents. Your character is just a wrapper of this.
So that's probably going to unlock all sorts of stuff, because that's maybe is part of the problem. So if I go back over here to Flurmaster and I'll have to actually kill him first. So bye, buddy. Promise I'll get you back.
That's the cool thing about local agents is you're like, oh, it's infinite looping. You kill it.
So this, and yeah, I don't know if that's big enough that you can see. Let's see if I can I zoom this? But that is what I'm calling to like start the agents right now, which is, I can read it to you, like PM run dev -- characters equals, and then basically the character file.
Exactly. So let's yeah. So
instead, it
copy
sounds like
that
I
real
need
quick.
to be okay.
So just copy the whole command. So just copy to clipboard. Close that out, and close your other terminal over there on the left too.
Okay. This one is running. I'm gonna leave her running because she's running on separate repo anyway.
Oh,
She shouldn't bother us.
Okay. So why don't we maximize your just maximize your entire cursor.
Okay.
And so everyone can see it. And so now, so if you go all the way up to the top right, John, so like look all the way to the top right. So on the other side, on the right. Yeah.
Directions are hard. Okay.
I was having problems with volume earlier, right? So like,
yeah.
So click the middle one there. You see where it shows the little bucket? Yeah. So click that one. Okay. So that's a terminal. So like those are little shortcuts. So now it shows you what and then go up at the top right, just so you know, just so you can see, go up to top right again and click the one with the right bucket. Yeah, that one. Yep.
This one
Yep.
or the other one? This guy?
Click all of them so that they're all white. Yeah. So click it again. And then now click the other one. And so now you have every single thing open.
Got it.
And then you can use those little icons in the right to close them out, or you can there's commands like Command J, Command B, Command Shift J. We'll open and close those depending on what you want to do. So now you're in your terminal. Now paste in that npm. Yep. And then you can. Yep. So it's building everything. You're running in dev. Maybe so, John. On that same terminal bar, you see there's a little arrow. Go over to the X on the right. Yep. And so there's a little arrow. Click the arrow, the little up arrow. Okay. So that shows you the full terminal. And so is this okay? So now, okay. So I have an idea. Let's click that arrow again. So now it's a down arrow. Click it again, and maybe make your terminal like half the size of the screen. Okay, good. And then open up your character file again. So over in your left, the character file, like it should be right. Which character are you running in that terminal?
Should be this one.
Okay. All right. So if I go to, do you have it active on Telegram right now or Twitter?
Yeah.
So, okay. So watch this. So let me go to Twitter. What's it called? Soul Master?
Flare Master 3000.
Master.
Like a solar flare.
So this is Flare Master 3000, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So in your terminal, real quick, scroll all the way down to the bottom of it. So just like it looks like yeah. Okay. So let's just go. Hello. I'm just gonna. Hello. Then watch what happens. See what happens. It might with Twitter. It might not be active. So I just sent it a tweet.
And so in a minute. Yeah, I was gonna say in a minute it should notice. I think. I don't know how often it cycles. I imagine you can set those as well. Those frequencies.
And then what is it on Telegram? Is it the same thing?
Yeah, he's I think Flare Master 3000 bot. I can double check.
So Telegram's a little more Flare Master. All one word, 3000.
Yeah. Only I think like his actual name has bot on the end.
Okay, see, so I just got the Twitter, right? So it's like,
yeah.
For those watching, this is like super fun. Like when you're troubleshooting your agent, this is actually where you see, like, so look at it, it already knows, it sees my handle, Timo Industries, and it responded, right? So if I go back, so you can, do you have verbose logging turned on? That might be something you want to turn on.
Don't think I do.
Let me find that real quick. So verbose, I think it's in the button. I can't remember where it is. Index verbose. Let's see. I'm just looking through my Eliza real quick to see where it is. Verbose. Okay, so I think you go to open up your package JSON.
Okay.
So in your it'd be in your main repo. So what's crazy about Eliza, right? It has a lot of packages because it's a mono repo that like every single basically repo has a package JSON.
So
I'm just gonna check the docs to be sure. Like, so that should be your main one. Eliza. Okay, so click up there in your package, Jason, and just do Command F. So actually in where it's the file is actually open up there, or I guess that's your agent one. So close that one, and then let's just do a search. So in that top bar where it says Eliza, very top, there's a little search bar.
Or there, or oh, the very top.
Like
I
top,
see.
yep.
Yep.
Or no, even in the center, like top of your entire. There you go.
Yeah.
Yep, right there. And then type in package JSON. Let's just what you want to find. We want to find the root one. So it's like that second one or third one down. It's not in a directory yet. So open that one. And now do Command F, and then type in just start to type in verbose, VERB. So you have verbose true. See, I wonder if it's in an environment file. But what I'm getting at is if you turn on verbose logging, so if we find the setting for that, in your terminal right there, it will show all the embeddings. Like it literally lights up the terminal with like what the frick the LLM is doing. So if people want to understand like what how the LLM is integrating with this, like that's how like it. So verbose logging shows you as the dev or as the agent operator. I'll figure out where to turn that. I think it's in your environment file, and you probably don't want to open that on your screen.
Yeah, I don't. I prefer not to.
Or it's in. It could be in core. There's two other places it could be too. Like we could ask.
Eliza. Are you running all yours with an API key instead of direct login? I know that I'm probably at security risk because I am just using passing it the direct login through the ENV.
So we have. I'm not focused too much on Twitter right now for a lot of reasons.
Yeah,
but we have. I did. You can get a free. It's kind of hard to find, right? But if you go you log into Twitter with your agent account, and then you go to their developer section, and then there's like a weird like hidden link, like the free plan. Like it tries to get you to pay $5,000 a month or $200 a month.
Got it.
You go to
so you get like that free API.
Yep, exactly.
Okay. I probably need to just do that.
But then what's weird is depending on what version of Eliza you're using, you have to still enter. Like I'm using 1.78 or something, 1.7 something.
Okay.
You still have to enter the jailbreak password and email stuff.
Got it.
So you have to do both because that's how it actually replies. So like unless you're doing the higher end Twitter API, you're only getting posting. I think the free API gives you posting, but then if you want to reply and if you want to like follow certain people or respond to different topics, that's what that jailbreak where you enter your username and password does.
Got it. Okay. That's what's passing right now, and that's I guess why it's replying. But I'm not really doing that, Twitter overlords, I promise. So this, just in case it means anything to you, so this is when I go to Telegram and try and talk to Flaremaster, I get this. So it does realize, okay, it's definitely connected because it's like, oh, Telegram, and it's like, oh, somebody said hello. But then I get this matched fragment issues, and then I was thinking about going into the Discord for Eliza and asking folks if they had any ideas, but it's almost like what somebody had suggested that I was talking to is that maybe it is more of an OpenAI issue, that it's taking the hello, it's going to the pinging OpenAI, and that for whatever reason there's some breakdown, but I don't know.
So real quick, I think we could do something cool here is on your Telegram settings, have you when you go to bot father, right? Or whatever that, you have to disable group privacy. Have you done that?
Oh, maybe not. Now that hello was from a direct DM with him, but at one point he was replying in the direct DM, and then I broke that when I was trying to add him to groups. But
okay,
let's see.
So let's do this.
So there's some setting in
here
about like
Let's just do this. Before you go to BotFather, go up to, you see your composer top right. So like your panel, your composer panel, click the plus, or actually no, the bigger plus. And let's just start a new composer. I think you have a fresh one. Okay, so now delete the package JSON from that. Yep, because that's its reference file. Okay, and then now go back in and into your terminal, highlight, like basically scroll up a little bit to where it starts, basically. So finish Twitter, yeah. So and then go all the way down, just do the whole thing, and then now see where it says add to composer, top right. I would just, let's see, handle by cursor or something.
I can probably just means that the copy's not working, right?
Oh no, then yeah, and then you can paste it in there. And then say, can you just say help me with this? And then hit return. Let's see what it says. System is creating, it's running against fact. I'll need more information. So go down in your composer, type in at client, and then hyphen, and start to type Telegram, and then now just scroll up and select that, and say maybe check here ? I think it's probably your BotFather setting, but like the point is, John, I'm just showing like people how like this is how you troubleshoot it and fix it. Like, so it tells you everything. Being received objects, yes, improper message serialization. So it's actually probably in your character file. Semantic match proof.
Yeah, back when Eliza GG was working, it was trying to help me, and so it kept telling me to add this and subtract this and do this. So I've tweaked the character file a bunch. I suspect that I'm missing something at this point, so that may be part of the problem. But I was like,
okay, real quick, just so we were careful here. Like you see those white dots up top. So like if you go all the way up to your files where package utils. So it edited those files. So like this is where you have to be careful with cursor. Like what I would do is just go back down to the composer and hit reject for now. Like just get in the habit of like, and that way okay, it didn't change anything. Like it changed a bunch, but now your files are back to where they were. So like that's for this purpose, that's what you want. Like you don't want to mess your files up.
oh yeah, set join, but you're right. I bet that's the other issue is that set join groups in the BotFather.
It's a privacy setting. I think you have to turn it. I think you have to turn
it
off. I think is what I'm going from memory.
Now it's enabled, so it says bot can be added to groups.
Okay, so let's do this. So you don't need to be in Telegram for the time being. Just go in the composer pane again down at the bottom. Just and type in at, and then start to type in Flare Master, and then select your character file, and then say is my formatting wrong, or you can say is my formatting causing this. Let's see if I can read it here. And so this is where you have to be careful. It's making changes, right? So you don't. Okay, so let's just real quick see where it says up in the top where you have a red message manager. Just click on that file. Go up to your files and then click on just that. Open that file. So where it says message manager.ts.
Can I just open it from here? Just
click it's actually it's already open in your file pane. Just go to the center.
Oh, I see.
It opens it for you. And so I would reject these because you don't cursor. It may be doing the right thing, but like it's basically going to break Eliza if you do that.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't want to
you see
break
what I'm
her.
saying? Like, you don't,
Yeah.
so now go, or did you hit reject down in the bottom one? Is that where you hit it?
Yeah, I rejected all.
Okay, so that rejected all. Go.
Oh,
So,
but I should have left. I see. You were going to leave it for the character sheet to see what it does.
but I think
to
you
it,
can
but-
restore it. So down where it says completed, or what is it?
Mhm.
And then click on, and now scroll all the way to the right. You see there's a little like circle, like or no, right where you were hovering over Flare Master. Now go all the way to the right. Yeah, click that.
Oh, reapply. Okay.
Yeah, and then now go back up to Flare Master and see what changes it made. So if you scroll through, and so you can close your terminal too. Like as long as you don't hit the trash can, just hit the X. Yeah, you can hide it. Yep, exactly. So now let's scroll through and see what changes it made.
Surprised it didn't make anything up top because this is the Telegram stuff I would have thought, but let's see what else it hates.
So it could be just as simple as like, it could be one.
That's just like knowledge stuff that it's changing.
But what I found is that it could be parsing in Telegram. It doesn't parse certain
Oh, because like
markdown
here
or
it's like,
punctuation.
oh, okay.
I would if you don't see anything alarming, I would so this is a cool thing too, John. You can go through line by line and just hit accept.
But I think it's only those three, and it looks like, and coincidentally, I think there was like three of those weird things where it was like trying to resolve things. So maybe it is that just as simple as that.
So what you could do is you could accept all if you wanted to.
Well, worst case.
And you can always revert too. And then if you're running the dev server,
I'm not sure.
so I think so. PNPM, I think you typed in dev, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So in theory, it should restart or not. It doesn't install. It sometimes builds, but it should restart. But what I would do is, do you have your start command handy?
I do. I don't know how to exit out of this when it's running.
So just scroll. I guess you can there's a little trash can there, all the way to the right. Yeah, that's going to stop your
That
character.
kills. Okay.
Yeah, and so now,
I forget where we opened it in the first place. Oh, just here.
yep, and then you need to type in your whole command again. So what I do is I put the commands in the notepad.
Oh, okay. I just rely on the fact that terminal remembers it. So if you go to a prompt in terminal and press up, it'll show you the last command you did. And then if you push up again,
cool.
it'll show you the command before that. So terminal, at least on OS X natively, like remembers all the things.
And you hit the up button?
Yeah, just
Okay,
up
awesome.
and then up, down, and then you can scroll through all the different commands you've done lately.
Dude, nice. That's a good hack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put them in the notepad and I just copy and paste them so I don't have to type them, but that's actually better.
Yeah.
So now go to Telegram. So now your agent's running again, and you.
Okay, so now if we go to Flare Master, let's see what happens.
And just as a side note with cursor, so you accept it all. So what that did is that saved that saved all your changes. It like made the file changes active. Like when you hit accept all, it actually applies the changes, saves the file. Whereas if you typed in manual changes in Flare Master, you actually have to save the file manually. See what I'm saying? So like if you hit accept, it does all that. It does edit, delete, deletes, edits, saves.
Awesome. I'm just noticing the time, so I'm gonna stop sharing for now. Because I'm gonna have to jump here in just a second. Pop back on camera for all the live followers, if any out there still. But this is all super helpful. Yeah, that's going to keep me cranking. I think Cursor is going to be my best friend now to help me keep trying to troubleshoot some of these issues. I might ping you on the side just for the like 10,000 foot view of the Farcaster client, since we didn't get into that, because I was going to try and get that rolling next. And I was kind of, I hit the wall with Telegram. So I was like, all right, I'll jump over that, see if I can get Farcaster to work, and I'll come back to Telegram later. So,
I think like what I was trying to do is like show like in cursor how you troubleshoot, how you iterate.
yeah.
Like be careful not to save any edits to Eliza core, Eliza bootstrap, Eliza agent, because that could mess up, that could fuck up your whole thing.
Yeah.
But character file, and you just get really good at reading the codes, like, or the line of like, what's it doing? And then if you don't understand why it did it, ask it. And it might say, oops, I diarrhea, then I shouldn't have done that. Like,
Yeah.
just type it, use the composer, like just have a conversation with the composer, ask it why it made the changes. Say, are you sure? Let's try this. And then you can go back up in that composer pane, John, you can go up to the checkpoints and you're like, I just blew this whole thing up. Go up, find the checkpoint that you knew it was working and just hit restore. And it will go back to where it was. Like it just, you don't have to do Command Z or whatever. It's just like it, it just, so cool. I know you got to run, but yeah, I think that was good. I think like Telegram or Farcaster, just for the audience, we're going to be doubling down on Farcaster with Coinbase's announcement yesterday that Farcaster is going to be incorporated into the wallet feed. Yeah. And I personally think that Warpcast channels is going to be a really good way to coordinate swarms and syndicates. So you basically set up a channel and then you invite the agents, right? Your Farcaster agents to that channel. And then you start to track. That's where they're actually coordinating. So that instead of it being a back room, it's a public room that they're just having conversation and doing their thing, but it's happening in public. And because it's on Warpcast, it's happening on Farcaster. And because it's on Farcaster, right, natively, it's on Supercast. And because it's on Farcaster, it's on chain. So you can actually use Paybot. The wallet functionality is going to work better on Farcaster as well, because it's natively on chain. So that's just something to think about. Like, and Farcaster IDs are super easy to get, and we could do like Nanar API. We didn't get into that, but
I'm sure knowing that that's where I need to go, because I had forgotten that that Farcaster Warpcast doesn't have a native API, but Nanar built one, and so it's using that API to interact. So I can dig into his docs and stuff, or their docs, and go from there probably.
Yeah, cool. Well,
all right. Well,
yeah, thanks for your time, and glad you're building. Yeah, we got to get the wallets working for you too.
Yeah, no, that's definitely, we'll have some future discussions just on some of that as well, because I'd like to get one of these agents, or maybe a whole nother agent, to like controlling those wallets and going from there. So appreciate you, my friend, and we'll talk again soon.
Okay, sounds good. And just so you know, my kids left today for basically a week. They're on like a spring interim trip.
Okay.
So I'm going to program a bunch of shit. So I'm going to do some just solo stream, just so the audience knows too. Like,
okay, cool.
So if you want to join, like, or if you see me just streaming, just ping me and I'll bring you up. Or so anyone in the audience, if you want to share your screen like John did, hey, I can't get cursor to work, or hey, I can't get this agent to work, or show me how your wallet works, or whatnot. I'm going to stream plugin development maybe this afternoon. We'll see, but cool. I'm just gonna turn it on and
be cranking a lot. Okay.
Yeah. So that's I got a week of like just like heads down, like let's build some shit. So
awesome. Yeah, get out there and build, people. It's fun, and it's really not as scary as you think it is. So
totally, yeah. No, it's not. It's totally agree, John. All right. Have a good afternoon. Thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you in a little bit.